Bismillah, assalamu alaikum. Hope everyone's doing well. I think one of the biggest problems for some in the fragrance community is that compliments is the barometer for people to figure out if a fragrance is good or not. And there are some very big problems when it comes to compliments. Compliments shouldn't be that much of a major factor when it comes to really ranking, if you really like a fragrance or not. So I'm gonna give you a few reasons why. One, so a lot of times I'm going to work when I'm wearing my fragrance, right? And right now, because of the climate that we're currently in, it actually is a little bit taboo sometimes for people to make compliments to each other. People feel like if they say something, it could be considered sexual harassment, stuff like that. So sometimes people do favor your scent, favor what you have on, but especially if they're of the opposite sex, sometimes they're just not going to say anything. I had one lady at my job compliment me, but she prefaced it. She said, "Hey, I'm not trying to hit on you, but damn, you smell good." It's like I had to double back and check and make sure that it was you. She's like, "Damn, you smell good, but I'm sorry, but I'm not trying to hit on you. I don't want any sexual harassment, And it's crazy because it's a compliment, but it sounds so, just weird because it's like, damn, it's like I would never say, "Oh, you was hitting on me" or something like that. But that is the climate that we're in. That does happen. So sometimes people do want to say something. However, if there's someone that doesn't know you, they're probably not going to say anything because of that just societal type of vibe that we're going through now. So sorry, you're not gonna get a compliment because of that. Another one is I ran into a coworker that I've known for years, and she was like, "Oh, what you got on today, B?" And she was with a junior soldier, and the soldier was like, "Yo, he always smells good." She said, "But I just never say anything." And so so before I was introduced to the soldier, it was like, hey, there's a rank disparity. So sometimes because of your title, because of who you are at the job, people are not going to compliment you. Again, doesn't mean that you don't smell good. Doesn't mean that that fragrance isn't something that people are interested in. When you're in the workplace, when you're in certain places, people may feel that because of who you are, maybe I shouldn't say anything. All right. And then there's also complacency and consistency. If you're somebody that always smells good, people don't like to say the same compliment over and over again. They'll tell you a couple of times, or maybe, it has to be a very standout type of fragrance. But sometimes people they acknowledge that you smell good. They just don't say anything. They're like, "You always smell good." They're just used to it. So to them, it's like, "Hey, I've told you a few times already. What's the point of me telling you another time? Like you probably already know you smell good." So, sometimes even with that, that's why you're not going to get a compliment. And lastly, what do you even consider a compliment? Because sometimes I take certain comments. I've heard, I've seen certain skits where, people are like, "Hey, my significant other says I can't wear this without them." To me, that's a compliment. So any type of sarcastic comments, any type of, "Hey, like, where you going? Like, why are you wearing that?" Just because it doesn't come out and, specifically state, "Hey, that smells good," sometimes the emphasis or the intention of certain comments means, "Hey, it smells very, very good." So sometimes, there are some fragrances, "Hey, you can't wear without the significant other." They're like, "Nope, this one is attractive. This one, it's a crowd pleaser. I'm not going to have anybody coming up to you saying, 'Damn, you smell good,' like the lady at work." So those are my reasons of why sometimes, compliments are data. Yes, they're absolutely data, but sometimes that data is incorrect. Wear what you want, smell good, because the person you should inspire first and impress first is yourself. Smell good, that's an order. Set the salam out.